guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, high school, and recent graduate. I help you implement systems and strategies in order to overcome the chaos and cultivate simplicity in your home and homeschool. And today I'm so excited because my sterling ink order has arrived. I ordered at 10:06 on launch day. Everything opened at 10 a.m. I was really indecisive for those 6 minutes and purchased a bunch of different items, and lo and behold, it took many days, weeks for me to get my order, which is totally okay. They are a small operation and we do not need these planners until, well, December. I will say December. I will not say January because I do a lot of setup in my planners. I am so excited to share this stuff with you. I have been using the academic year B5 Common Planner since about May, and I came into the year 2025 thinking that I would use the Common Planner. However, I did not get it set up, and then things were just not working how I wanted them to. And so I didn't use the one that I purchased for the start of 2025, the actual calendar year planner. I did use it for a few weeks, I think, and it just wasn't working the way that I needed it to. I took a bunch of time this summer and went through so many different planners, and I think I have a whole playlist. I will leave it linked for you. I know that I do have a Plan With Me playlist, and all of those are in there where I used all of the planners that I own. There are so many, and each week I did a different Plan With Me with a different system, kind of how I need to plan and what I need to keep track of. And at the end of that, I realized that I really like the Common Planner and decided to change a few things on how I plan in general and started keeping track of a few new things. So this is what I've come up with for 2026, subject to change per usual. So the first thing is this cute little black envelope. I obviously took the stuff out of the box and the bubble wrap, but it is all nicely packaged. You have a little sticker sheet and her card with some information. There's a QR code here if you need help. This postcard is new. If you've watched a lot of unboxings with Sterling Ink for the 2026 launch, I'm sure you've already seen this, but it has ways to use your planner, 30-day planning challenge, monthly journal prompts, vision board guide, how to plan guide, and the QR code with a beautiful print here. That's so lovely. Okay, so I ended up buying 4 things on launch day. I did also go back and place another order on September 10th because my husband wanted to try one of these planners. We will see if he actually uses it and likes it. And I also bought another planner for another purpose. When I receive those, I will definitely share them. The first thing that I got was this A6 monthly booklet, and this is to replace my N2 monthly booklet from this year. I don't have it with me and I don't see it anywhere at the moment, which is not ideal, but essentially this is just a planner that lives in my purse, and I use it for the kids' doctor's appointments and taking any notes. I got that N2 planner I think I got it right at the beginning of the year and used that. It reminds me of the old little pocket calendars, just a monthly calendar that you would get like at Staples, and you keep it in your bag for when you're out and about. I don't take a lot of notes when I'm out and about, but I do want something for the doctor's appointments and just anything kid related. Plus it does have, I think, 23 notes pages, or maybe there's 17 notes pages in the back, but it's plenty of space for me to take any little notes that I need at the different appointments. So it has the mini monthly calendars. These are tiny. The reason that I got the A6 instead of the N2 is because the N2, while it fit in my smallest purse, it was really hard to squeeze in there. So this will fit a little bit better. That's the only reason that I got this size instead of the N2. So it has your mini monthly calendars for 2026, teeny tiny. I don't think I would really use these at all. Your 2 blank pages, your goal breakdown section with space for 6 goals, someday, 1 year, half year, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, your yearly tracker, which I believe this is new in the monthly. Is it new? I'm going to say that and then it's not actually new. This is not new. This was here. I have my N1 monthly right here, which is what I use for health tracking for this year. and I'm using this, so I don't know why I said this is new, but this was new last year, the yearly tracker. Then you have the quarterly breakdown sections, which are lovely. I don't actually use these or need these, but I guess I could take some notes if I needed. One thing that you will notice as I go through all of the planners on these quarterly sections is that now she circles the weekend days instead of boxing, like graying out the whole box for the weekends. It doesn't really bother me either way. I just like to see some designation for the weekends. Actually, the shaded in section is a little bit easier for my eyes to just grab, but circle also works. This does start in December, and it just has the monthly calendars. It's a Monday start calendar right through to January of 2027, and then you have those 17 notes pages, and that is the little A6 monthly, and I'm really excited about this. The next three things are all planners. The first is an N1 full year daily planner, and I have been using the B6 daily planner this year, and we'll see how the N1 shapes up. I'm unsure, but I have some different ideas, which I will talk to you about in just a minute. And then we have the A5 vertical full year, and then the B5 vertical and full year. One of these will be my big all-in-one planner with my monthly, weekly planning, as well as my common placing and all kinds of other stuff, but I'm unsure which size. So we're going to go through the daily planner first. So all of the planners do come in these beautiful, they're not I think they are some sort of cardboard box. I'm gonna rip mine probably, but it's very nice packaging. And each planner does come with one of these pencil boards in a different print for each size, I believe. So this is very, very pretty. It's similar to the Alice in Wonderland set, maybe is what that is for. And then it has the 2026 monthly calendar on the back, and there's some grid space down at the bottom. This is so pretty. I really like that. Okay, so the N1 daily planner is new this year. She has had the B6 and the A5, I think, and now this year she also has the N1 and then another small one. And I have really been enjoying using the daily planner this year. I started using it pretty regularly in April, and it is this tweed, I think is what it's called. It looks very similar to this one last year. I think this was the only color option, I think. I may be wrong. Let me check now. Yes, so the N1 and then the pocket, which are the two new sizes, come in this tweed color, and I got the gilded edges, which I think are just beautiful. So you may be asking yourself why I got the N1 instead of the B6, and the reason is because in most daily planners, I don't use the monthly calendars, and I don't use any of the tracking stuff up at the beginning. However, I have been using this N1 monthly booklet to do health tracking all of this year, and I really, really like how I have it set up. So I am using all of the goal sections, the tracking sections, and the monthly calendars for this. So I thought instead of having a monthly booklet and a daily planner, I could just get the N1 daily planner and combine both my daily planning and my health tracking. I think that that is a really good idea. We will see though, because I don't usually keep my daily planners. They are essentially to-do lists and time blocking for me, and it's not something that I use for memory keeping or anything like that. So I'm unsure if I really want to use this for health tracking because I don't know if I will keep these or not. I feel like when I've done health tracking consistently in the past, I do have those journals, and I just use journals where I would just take notes, and I have them in a bin with all of my other journals from like many, many years of journaling. But it's not super huge, and I think that I could potentially keep it. Maybe I don't need it. I am unsure. So the first section is the monthly little mini calendars, which is great for cycle tracking. That's how I use it in my health tracker. Then you have these 2 blank pages, which I believe can be used like as a vision board or however you want to use it. The one thing about the N1 versus the B6 is it doesn't, well, I guess maybe at the beginning it doesn't lay as flat either. Maybe you just have to go in a couple of pages just because this is more narrow, I think. Then you move into the yearly tracker, and I track my weight as well as miles walked. That's what I've been using this for this year, and that's what I will continue to use it for. I really like having the space. There's plenty of space. There's essentially 2 lines of, like, it's 2x4 grids for each day. So that works really well. And then I highlight when I'm having my cycle here. So then you move into the quarterly tracker section. So this is a little bit different than the monthly calendar because in the monthly booklet, you're getting both the goal breakdown pages as well as a little bit of a different quarterly tracker. So there's priorities and then the 3 months and then your habit tracking. But in the daily planner, it doesn't have this section. It just has January through June here with some extra space down below, July through December, and then you move into your monthly calendars. Now, because I haven't really been using this section or the goal breakdown pages for health tracking this year, I thought that I could get away with the daily planner with just these trackers and the yearly tracker because that's honestly what I need the most. So we will see. I mean, it is possible that I would want to have more goal breakdown for health specific tracking and goals. I don't think that I would need to have that here. So instead, I'm just going to use these tracker sections and the yearly tracker, and I think that that will be plenty. And in fact, the yearly tracker is new this year in the daily planner. So that is another reason that I thought, oh, I can combine these 2 things. And so you go through and you have your 12 months of trackers, habit trackers, and then you move into your monthly calendar section. And this does start with December 2025, and it goes, I believe, all the way to January of 2027. Yes, it does. And then you move into your daily pages. And this is a dated daily. So each day has its own page. It says Thursday, 2026, January 1st. Even though it does give you the December monthly calendar, it does not give you the December daily pages. So you have one kind of preview page for the month, and then you have your daily planning section. And so this is, essentially I'm going to use this exactly the same way as I use my daily planner now. I break my list up into personal and work stuff, and then I time block my day with my colors for the particular categories that I'm working in. And I'm going to continue doing that. It's a little bit smaller over here. So it is possible that instead of using these dots for dividing, well, I would still use the middle dot. Okay, sorry, I had to stop for a second because in all of the other Sterling ink planners I have, there is a dot that divides the top and then the side of the page. So in the N1 last year, you have the top and bottom dots, but then there's also 2 other dots here, but this doesn't have any dots that I can see. And so I don't know if that's a mistake or if that was a change for this year. Regardless, it's not a huge deal. I will just count and figure out what the center is because I will still use the daily planning pages the same, which is my personal and my work to-do list, and then time blocking over here. Like I was saying previously, I may move the line over a little bit for my time blocking. I may use a smaller section for time blocking so I have a little bit more room for writing my to-do list for the day. But overall, this is exactly what I need. All of the pages are dated in this planner as well. So if you want to have an index or something, you certainly can. It goes from 6 a.m. to midnight. And I tend to get up usually around 5, so I end up putting 5 a.m. up here and time blocking my day that way. So every day has its own page. As you can see, Saturday and Sunday also have their own pages, which is why I really like this daily planner. And I also like that it is all in one volume. So you get to the end of the month and then you have 2 blank pages. It can be like a review for the previous month or however you want to use it. I don't necessarily need to use these sections. Sometimes I do. It just depends on the month and the week. And then you start out fresh with your preview or overview for the next month and your daily planning pages. And so that's how it goes right through to the end of December. You get to the end of December and then you have, I'm not sure how many pages. I feel like it's maybe 37 pages, somewhere around there, 30 to 40 pages of blank space in the back. And what I use this section for is my weekly brain dumps that I do every week as I'm setting up my weekly plan. So I just do a brain dump and then I plan out my week and then I do my daily planning. So in the notes pages, there are the little dividing dots, but it doesn't look like it carried over to the daily pages. And I'm unsure why that is, but it is on all of the blank pages. So that's really interesting. I think I would have to maybe ask and find out why that is because I really don't know. But some of the pages do have the dots to divide this into thirds. I think that this is going to work great for me. I was a little concerned about it being more narrow, but I honestly think that there's going to be plenty of space for me to write what I need in here. I can write a little bit smaller. I can use a finer tip pen. I tend to use a Micron 03 for most of my stuff, but I do have an 01. It's almost out of ink, but I do like the 01 as well. So this is the daily planner, and I'm really excited about this. Okay, now I'm going to go through the A5 and B5 vertical planners. These are both full year planners. I just don't know on the size. That's the biggest thing. I just don't know on the size. So you have this beautiful print again with the 2026 calendar on the back. It is so lovely. So let me get this out of the plastic. Oh, this feels a lot different than this one. This is more of like a pebbled PU leather, I think, or like a imitation leather. This is very, very soft and smooth. I did get the gilded edges again, and this is the A5 vertical. And actually, let me take the B5 out as well. All right, and then, so this is the B5. Let's take this one out. Ooh, this is really pretty. That's really nice. And again, with the calendar on the back, these are so pretty. I love all of these colors and the prints. She does such a lovely job. I just think it's so pretty. But I also really wanted to see this mulberry. I wanted it last year as well, but it didn't come in the B5. It also doesn't come in the B5 size. This mulberry, I believe, is only A5 and maybe B6. And then some of the horizontal planners, which I don't use. It says 2026 A5 vertical full year common planner, or this one is 2026 B5 vertical full year common planner, and it does have the year on the side, which is really nice. These are going to have the exact same layout on the inside. The issue that I'm having is trying to figure out which size I need. So here's my dilemma. First, when I'm planning out my weeks and my months, I need all of this space. I know it may seem excessive to a lot of people to have this much space, but I just write down so much stuff and I need the amount of space. But what am I using all of these notes pages in the back for? It's not daily planning because I have a daily planner, which we just went through. I am using this for commonplacing and then note taking, and I'm also trying to replace some of the journals that I keep outside of my normal planner system. I buy a lot of Lloydstrom notebooks every year for my book journal, for my work planner, for my goals, for other random stuff, just journaling in general. But I've started using this planner for commonplacing in May and really like it. And I just wanted to see how much space I would need. I've been using this now for 5 months and I've still have like so many pages. This is an academic year, so 7 more months of note taking. Would I get through the rest of this? I don't know. So let's just walk through these planners, and I'm going to have to make a decision at some point. I don't know when that is going to be. So I'm going to go through the B5 size first. And like I said, this is really my comfort size when it comes to planning my weeks and months. And that is because I have been using an Erin Condren Life Planner for planning, oh gosh, since 2013, 2014. And that is a 7x9 planner. This is just a little bit larger. The 7x9 Erin Condren, just, I mean, not very much at all, but this is what I'm used to using for planning size. And so moving to an A5 size would be a little bit challenging as far as getting everything on my plan that I want to. So this is kind of my comfort zone, and it has this beautiful cover. I absolutely love this, although when I started thinking about what my planners are going to be for next year, my goal planner I think is going to be the Berry Power Sheets, which I will show you compared to this mulberry color in just a couple of minutes. And that is not going to match this cover at all, I don't think. Actually, let me grab it. So this berry is it's not great. It does look very nice with the mulberry though. This is, you know, a linen cover, and this is smooth. This is obviously a little bit brighter, and this one is more muted, but oh, I'm unsure. I do have 2 other cover choices for Power Sheets that I purchased. I also bought the leaf, which is green, and then the navy blooms, which is navy with floral design. So we'll see. I might change my mind. I don't know. Gosh, if you came for just a walkthrough, you've got a lot of introduction, and I'm sorry. So when you open it up, you have this front page, which is thicker than the Tomoe River paper. It says 2026 B5V for vertical full year common planner. You have your mini monthly calendars for 2026, which I absolutely love. Then you have your 2 blank pages or grid pages, which I think that she uses this for a vision board, or that's what she suggests, but you could use it as an index or honestly whatever you want to use it for. I haven't used these for anything. In fact, I also haven't used the goal pages at all, but I can see myself using them in combination with the Power Sheets this year for a little bit more open-ended planning. I think for goals, I think that's, you know, more ideas and such and less about the actual action steps, even though it does have a quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily section. I'm unsure though. Then you move into the yearly tracker, which again, I love the yearly tracker. I think it is super helpful to have for any number of things. You can use it, you can like make a little key and designate different colors and then just use little dot markers, I guess, to keep track of different things. This planner does lay flat too, pretty much right from the beginning because it's so big and the cover is soft. So that's really nice. Then you do have your quarterly breakdown pages. So priorities, January, February, March, and then habit trackers or whatever you want to use this for. I think that I've seen some people write like a gratitude. I've seen all kinds of different things for this section. Again, I don't know what I would use it for because I haven't used it yet, but I do really like these pages specifically for the health tracking. Again, they are now circling the numbers when it comes to the weekends, and I know a lot of people like that. I think that I actually prefer the shaded in section because I can just see it easier. This is a little bit harder for me to see. So you have 4 quarterly goals sections, and then you move right into the monthly calendars. And so this is a Monday start calendar. I did mention that, I think, with the daily planner, which is a little bit different. I think most monthly calendars are Sunday start, or you'll have like a mixed start calendar where the monthly calendar is Sunday start, but the weekly calendars are a Monday start. But for the common planner, it is both a Monday start for the month and then a Monday start for the week. It is 14 months of monthly planning, so you have December through January 2027 here. And I just love how big this is and open. There's plenty of space for me to write out all of the things of which there seem to always be so many things to write down. And I can keep track of everything here for the kids, for myself, for my work stuff, for my husband. All of those things can go in here because there's so much space. And then I do still have space to decorate things as well if I have time, which I do try to use some stickers. I like all of the washi tape stickers. I've been using this brand, this Stickabilities that I got from Hobby Lobby, a bunch of different types of stickers, but they're all kind of transparent. I don't think these are washi paper, but some of them that I have are similar to this matte paper from Sterling Ink, and I really like how they look on these pages. I know that this is white paper. It's not off-white, but it looks off-white to me compared to the Erin Condren paper. It's probably not that different, but it does look a little bit different to me. Obviously, this is much thicker paper than this paper. So once you get through January 2027, then you move into your weekly planning pages. And the B5 does have a 24-hour time line down the side for each day. I don't really use the times I'm not an hourly planner. I am a vertical planner, which is why I get the vertical planner, and I just ignore the hours. I do separate this into different boxes because that's kind of how I've always done planning the best. I have a to-do box, I have a to-go or appointments box, I have a to create, or that's my work content. I plan my meals. That's very similar to how the Erin Condren planners are set up, as well as the Mom Agenda planners with that vertical layout. And it really works for me. And I don't mind drawing in the lines or using a little bit of thin washi to separate things for me. Do I need to separate things? No. Do I like it? Yes. And I have had a lot of questions about why I would change from Erin Condren when I'm planning similarly in this planner. And the main reason is that this is much more compact than the Erin Condren planners, and that's because of the super thin paper. This planner with the weekly and monthly pages goes, let me see if I can get to the end here. This is the planner section. So it's really not that many pages. These are all notebook pages. And because I use so many extra notebooks, that's kind of why I wanted to have this planner specifically instead of an Erin Condren planner. So the weekly layouts are exactly the same. They do tell you which week it is. They put an oval around the mini monthly calendar to designate the week that you are in. The noon and midnight are both circled, so you can kind of see the designated separation of the day there. And that's how it is right through to the end of the year. There are, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, there's a little grade section for the different months so that you can kind of find where you're going, which month you are in. But there are no tabs in this planner, which doesn't really bother me. I actually purchased some little tabs to use, which you probably saw. They're just little teeny tiny tabs, and that just helps me keep my place. So once you get to the notes pages, you have a lot of notes pages. So there are 367 notes pages, so you have enough for 1 page per day. And that's where it gets a little crazy, because one B5 page for daily planning is a lot. That would be a ton of space. There are little dots up at the top and down the side, so you can separate this into 4 columns and 3 rows. So you can really, well, it just gives you a little bit of a visual cue as to how you can separate the paper. What I have been doing is I will draw a line down the side, and this is kind of like a notes/index section, and then this section is where I will take my notes. So I take my notes here, and then I categorize or make any other designations with color coding how I want to refer to that particular note section, whether it's a book review, if it's notes about a particular subject, if it's some podcast that I've listened to that I've taken notes about, if it's something productivity related, if it's a goal idea, if it's something that I want to share with my membership community, if it's a homeschool note, anything essentially can go in these notes pages. And the reason that I got the B5 again is because I am going to try and combine a lot of notebooks this year. I think instead of having a separate goals notebook, having a separate reading journal, I want to keep everything in this one planner and really reduce the number of books I use each year. And so, is this too many pages for all of those notes? I am unsure. And that's part of the reason that I also considered using the A5 size. And the A5 is going to be set up exactly the same way as the B5, it's just smaller. So you still have your mini monthly calendars, your 2 blank pages for a vision board, your goal breakdown page, your yearly tracker, your quarterly breakdown pages and habit trackers for goals, and then your monthly calendar sections. And when I'm looking at this, I just don't know if the number of things that I write in my monthly calendar, if I can consolidate it into this small of a box. I know that may sound crazy, but I don't have super small writing. I kind of write a little bit larger. I have a feeling that even though I would like to have this size planner, I don't necessarily think that I could put everything in here that I have in a month. Now, because both of these planners have a December calendar before the new year starts, I may go through and try and do a setup both for December in the A5 and the B5. It will obviously be a little bit more work on my end, but it would be interesting because December is such a busy month for us, for me to go through and write everything down and see how much space I actually have, or if I realize, okay, it's going to be so crammed that I'm not going to be able to actually see what I need to in the monthly view. So you still have the 14 monthly calendars. It's still the same Monday start, and then you move into your weekly pages. And in the weekly sections, I do actually think that I could fit what I need to in these weekly sections. You do have fewer hours on the side. It goes from 6 a.m. to midnight. Like all of the other planners, I believe, go from 6 a.m. to midnight. Except maybe the pocket size has fewer hours on it. I'm unsure. I don't know enough at this moment to be able to say that for a fact, but I think that I probably could fit everything that I need to for the weeks. But like I said, the months I think are just too small. And then you go through all of the weeks the same way, and then you still have 367 notes pages through the end of the planner. And I was thinking this would be a lot more manageable as far as the notes pages go, just because they're smaller pages and I don't take so many notes, I don't think. I think an A5 size would be plenty. But if I want to also have like my book journal in here, I like a B5 size for my book journal. This is my book journal from 2024 and 2025. So it's kind of what I like. It works really well for me to have it be this size. Could it be smaller? Probably, but I spent so much time trying to figure out how to lay out my spreads that I want that I just kind of want to keep them the same. Could I minimize their size? Yes. Do they need to be this large? No, but I still kind of like how this looks overall, and so yeah, we'll see. I am unsure, but these are the planners that I got from Sterling Ink on launch day. I'm really excited about trying them for this next year. Do they match? Nope, they don't match. Even if I do this and this, they are not matching, but I really like this cover, and so that is okay. We're just going to go with it. Ideally, this plus my power sheets would be the only things that I use for next year. That's what I'm working towards. We'll see if it happens, but that is my plan for now. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this little run through of what I purchased on launch day from Sterling Ink. If you ordered stuff, I would love to hear what you ordered or what you are thinking about potentially getting. I'm really excited because I love how compact these planners are. It's been really nice to write on the paper too. I am interested to do a pen test because there are a lot of pens that I own that shadow or bleed through this paper that obviously does not happen with my Erin Condren paper because that paper is so thick. So it will be interesting to see. I know that last year the Tomoy River paper had some issues and I don't know if they've been fixed. I don't follow the paper industry all that much, but it will be interesting for me, especially because I do use so many dual tip markers with my goal setting, and these ones all bleed through. So if they do bleed through again, then, and I do want to keep all of my goal stuff in here, I'm going to have to get different markers for my goal setting for next year. So it will be interesting to see. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for more help and encouragement around home and homeschool and goals, I would love for you to come check out my membership community. That link is always in the description box. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.